Hi, I'm Little Johnny J. I'm an artist over at twitch.tv/littlejohnnyj, and recently when I've been browsing a lot of people's art, their anatomy has been quite and that's why I'm making this series, to make you a better artist. Why should you get better at art? Well, instead of drawing some DeviantArt fanfiction type beat, you can start drawing masterpieces with me live over at twitch.tv/littlejohnnyj. Today, we're going to be covering the spine and the balance of any given character that you are drawing. So everyone has a spine, everyone has to know how to draw a spine, everyone has to know about weight, everyone has to know about the booty cheeks, everyone must know how to get down, dirty, and freaky with it. Wait a minute. One of the biggest things that I'm going to be drilling into you today is to flip your f***ing canvas. That's right. If you're drawing spine, if you're drawing weight, if you're drawing anything, flip your f***ing canvas. So let's get on with a quick little basic stick figure demonstration. So if anyone can draw a stick figure, it's basically just, you know, you got the head, you got that, you got that, you got that, you got that. Maybe even has a little tiny face like that. You know, look at it, look at how happy he is. Look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him. That's gonna be you after this. Like with anything in the real world, you constantly have a downward force, causing you to be affected by gravity. Now this gravity affects you a lot, if you could believe that or not. Recently we went over the rib cage and the pelvis bone, which will help you quite a bit. So in the last two videos, this one and this one, we went over the skull, we went over the rib cage and the pelvis. And why did I choose those and now this video? Well, if you're wondering, it's because those three elements are the only thing you need to know to draw good structure within any character that you draw. That's the only things you guys need to know, okay? That's the only thing. Only thing. There is no shame in looking up a pose reference. There is no shame. If you need to look at a reference, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this right now. If you need to look up a reference to draw something, go right ahead. So whenever you're drawing a pose or anything of that sort, you always want to start with a single line going down just to kind of know that, okay, well, this is going to be the center of gravity for the character. Around that, then you can start going, okay, now what kind of a pose do I want to draw? So what I like to do with this line is I like to always keep the head at the top of the line right here. For now, we're just going to simplify that with a little bit of an oval, just a little bit of an oval. And now with this oval, we can now kind of do in a C shape. Remember that C shape from the last video that I was talking a lot about? That's used a lot in art. So maybe they're facing this way. So I'm just going to put in a quick little C shape like that. Anyway, so with that, you can kind of get that backwards C shape right in there. And maybe we're going to put a line in here just so that we know that that's going to be like the rib cage and all that. And then, you know, maybe I'll have like one of the legs kind of going up here like that. And then the other leg will kind of follow this center of gravity right here. And we know that, okay, now we just have to worry about the arms, you know, so I'm just going to kind of simplify the arms, you know, just simplify the arms like that. Your elbow will always connect to your hips. Try it yourself. Try it yourself. Take your elbow, put it to your side, and then realize, oh, that's at my hips or the bottom of the rib cage. So if I were to rotate this, it would go to the end of the rib cage, aka like your sides. Then we're going to do a little bit of a backwards C shape for the arm. And then maybe this guy is like doing like a sick ass kung fu pose or something, and he's going like, Kwacha! Right? He's going like, Kwacha! Kwacha! It's very important to remember to flip your canvas just like this. Now, why do I say that? Because now, if I were to like do the pose once again, right, and I were to draw over this just to make things a little cleaner, you know, kind of have like the rib cage in here going up there like that. Just simplifying all the shapes. Simplifying all the shapes right here. So here's what it looks like when it is done being redrawn. So with everything nice and redrawn, always make sure to flip your canvas just to make sure that everything is kind of adding up. For instance, right here on this hand that I've kind of drawn in here, I realized that the hand is a little too large. So, you know, you can flip it again, flip it again, flip it again, flip it again. But do you see how the center of gravity, is always going down? And even though the spine is curved in a C shape, the center of gravity stays the exact same. A couple mistakes that a lot of artists do when they're drawing poses is they always forget their center of gravity, no matter what pose you do, whether it be someone sitting down. So if I were to pull up just a random photo of someone, for instance, this guy doing the karate pose right here is following the center of line rule. So you can see that even though his whole body is over here, right? He is still staying pretty balanced in this pose. So what do I mean by that? Well, we know that gravity is always going to go down. So if we were to take him and we were to figure out what the center of gravity was, well, obviously it would be his foot, since that's the only thing touching the ground. And then his spine would kind of curve up and go over there like that, up there like that. So his second leg right here that's doing the kicking motion is actually offsetting the weight of his whole body to make everything look nice and even. Another example of this would be this fine gentleman right here. Both his feet are on the ground, so you might be wondering, how do we discern what the center of gravity is? Well, once again, if we go from the head right here, see where he's facing this way, we can tell that his rib cage is going this way, and we can tell that his pelvis bone is also going this way. So if we were to draw on the head, draw on the egg, draw on the underwear shape right here, right, you can see that his center of gravity is actually pretty damn well straight, being carried mostly by this foot and secondary action by this foot. So once again, you can see the spine going all the way down, just straight like that. Now, how can you simplify this in your character's drawing? It's actually pretty simple. Just always start with a line. No matter if they're in the middle of a kick pose, no matter if they're in the middle scratching their nuts, it doesn't really matter what kind of a pose you're going for. The line method is OP. And let me quickly do a time lapse on a drawing of me doing the line method with a little bit of voiceover from future me to kind of help out and explain myself a little bit better than I can while I'm live. Begin!
Alright, I know this isn't the best drawing I've ever done, but it's not completely the point here. I just wanted to show the line method I use for poses and how often I flip my canvas while working. And yeah, this was all done on live stream, but don't worry, I promise I make actually good art too. Here's some finished stuff that I'm actually proud of right here.
Alright, back from the time lapse. As you guys can tell, there's no mean lean going on here. That's one thing we definitely like to avoid whenever we are drawing. There's no mean lean whatsoever. And why are we doing that? Because I flipped the f***ing canvas! That's right, this whole video is me gonna be telling you, flip your fucking canvas. And if you're like, oh, but I'm a traditional artist, I can't flip my canvas if I'm traditionally drawing. You have a cell phone, take a picture of it, flip that, and then just like kind of fix whatever looks off, take another picture, flip that, and keep doing that till it looks good. You know, like there's solutions to your problems. Or if you don't want to do it that way, just take a mirror. That's it. Just show it in, put it in front of your bathroom mirror, and trust me, you'll start seeing all the wrong things. But yeah, no, that's Spine and Balance. Like and subscribe. You know.